Welcome to a new season of World Sim Series action, and welcome to the Ringfreaks GT3 Premium Series as we head into round one of the championship from Spa. Then we'll head to Zandvoort, Monza, the Nürburgring GP circuit, Zolder, and the Nürburgring Nordschleife will round out the season on January 6th. And this is our first round of the season. New cars as well on World Sim Series, the new and updated GT3 cars, as Grantas Karatskas takes provisional pole position, for now at least, by 0.3 of a second, but more cars coming in soon. It's a top two lockout right now by Lexus, ahead of an Audi, ahead of an Aston Martin, and ahead of a Ferrari. This is Yetzi sitting in P3 at the moment, prepares for another lap in this qualifying session, but a huge traffic jam, and you can see it on the track map as well. Everybody is in this single part of the circuit, and pretty much the other 2/3 of the track are empty almost, so everybody is in one train of cars. Would be smart to just get out of it if you really want a clean lap around here at Spa, because we've got 35 cars out on track today for our first round of the season. And I'm joined, as always, by Lodinas.
Good evening and welcome everyone to the first round of the Ringfreaks GT3 Premium. As Gustas already mentioned, new cars present on the platform, brand new mod for Assetto Corsa. Extended physics, I'm not sure how good the cars handle, but they definitely do look very good on our screens. I'm pretty happy to have the renewed GT3 car series on the AC platform, and very excited for the new championship with phenomenal prizes on the table. The races will be 1 hour long, and they will have one mandatory pit stop where the drivers will need to come into the pit lane, add at least 1 liter of fuel. If they think that it's enough, they can head out onto the racetrack, or they need to change all 4 tires. The tire wear is set to 200%, so it's going to be definitely a challenge for the drivers to look after the tires, look after the rubber, to have it last for the whole race. Did Simon Speth go off the track as Grantas Karatskas sets another fastest sector, but it was on his out lap, so it doesn't count for the fastest lap. He's still first, and I think he's gonna be one of the main contenders in this championship to take that crown. Of course, the top...
So aborts his attempt, but I'm not sure if he will really need one more. Cars getting out of the way there, heading into the bus stop. Can Yetzi find something not purple anywhere around the track so far? As he'll cross the line, he does improve, but still half a second off of like a lot. But once you need to find those final few tenths out on track, it does become very difficult. Kobosnidze ahead of Tomola in Pro-Am. Jibgashvili in leads the Am standings at the moment.
Whoop, driving a Ferrari, new 296 GT3. Looks like it is a team of co-drivers, so Kobosnidze, Jibagashvili and Yavakishvili, all representing the AOR racing team, with Jibakishvili and Javakishvili driving for the M category, as Kobosnidze is our Pro-M driver. As Gustas mentioned, he is the current category leader. We have those 3 classes for the drivers that they have been split into, and they will battle for the prizes of their own. So that means there will be 9 winners in total in the first division, after we will cross the checkered flag in the final round. It's going to be 6 rounds. 1 round will be a drop round. So as a pretty usual situation on the World Sim Series platform, a bit less pressure for the drivers. They have a chance to either have a very bad one bad result in the championship or take vacation and miss one event.
Beth still continuing on with his lap. That should mean an improvement normally. I guess he would back out if it wasn't going to be any better. We're into overtime, so checkered flag out for anybody that crosses the line now. And no, it's not even close to an improvement. So interesting that he even continued his attempt there of the session. As waiting for a final few cars to take... Oh, big improvement from someone there, no? Yes, it is. Kobosnidze goes up to 4th. We missed Baumann taking P5 overall. That is an AM car, beating Mendelis, a Pro Plus car, to the top 5 on the grid, but Baumann and Mendelis will be row 3 here today. Then comes Tomola, second car in Pro-Am, Jubgashvili in second place in AM and 8th place overall, but pole position heads the way of Grantas Karatskas, 3/10 ahead of Simon Speff, who's another 2 ahead of Yetzi. Then it's Kobosnidze, Baumann, Mendelis, Tomola, Jibgashvili, Rahmanian, and Javakshvili. So a lot of movement there in the final few seconds of this session. A lot of movement overall-wise, maybe not so much in category, as Javakshvili is 3rd in the AMs, Rahmanian 5th in Pro, but 9th overall only. As we get ready to go, about 40 seconds until we go green for this new championship on World Sim Series. Big prizes on the line, and last year's Dream to Drive winner on pole position.
Yep, so 60 minutes of pure racing action. It's definitely gonna be tight. A huge grid of the GT3 cars. 35 drivers will start the race this evening. Let's wish them all good luck and a lot of fun.
As we get ready to go, round 1 of the Ringfreaks GT3 Premium Championship is underway. It's a standing start and a good start for Karatskas. Yetzi gets a much better getaway than Speff, though, as they go in 3 wide down into turn 1. Yetzi is going to get that position. Baumann into P3 as well, so Speff losing many spots. Somebody off at the exit of La Source as we head down the hill and then up the hill, up Erusian Radion for the first time in this race. Very wide, and I think that is Speff, and off the road and an incident. Big crash at the top of the hill. Well, and he rejoins in the middle of the track. Everybody has to go one way or the other. Luckily, pretty much everybody saw what was happening, but quite a few cars there retired, well, at least damaged, that's for sure. And you can see the damage on Speff's car, so big mistake there at the top of the hill. I don't think he had contact. I don't think he really had anyone to have contact with, and loses that opportunity to get a good result here today. Started 2nd, dropped to 4th out of turn 1, and dropped even more after that incident. Javakshvili, I can see, was involved in that, and he is down to 35th. So now it's Karatskas, Yetzi, Baumann in P3. That is an AM car. Not sure how long it will stay that way, though.
Yep, Kobosnidze is also out of the top 10 standings, so he must have been also involved in that crash, which took spot on a very unusual place. Looks like there was a bit of movement. The cars were pretty close to each other. There might have been contacts. Is that Yetzi off the racetrack? Indeed it is. So Matas Mendelis goes through into P4. Karatskas can already close his eyes and basically start cruising Baumann. An M category driver is currently 2nd. How on earth did he got his way through? He started 5th, so not a bad qualifying session at all for the M-Class driver. Remember, the organizers can change the drivers' categories after 1 or 2 races if they perform better than they look to be at the current category. So Baumann definitely looking pretty strong here this afternoon. Yetze trying to recover after that mistake. The drivers start on cold tires, so maybe that has something to do with all this hustle in the first lap. And they all have their own setups of the cars. It is completely open the way the drivers want to race the... Wow, there's another car of the racetrack. I didn't catch up with whom it was. A Mustang. Doing pirouettes. A lot of chaos here on this first lap. So no more Speth, no more Kobosnidze in top 10 places. A lot of top drivers have made mistakes. The drivers who did well in the qualifying session. Looks like they are in a bit of a struggle, and maybe that's gonna be a round to forget. 6 rounds in total, only 5 of them count.
Really, it was only Speth that made that mistake, and he got loose over that brow there and started spinning round. And that meant, well, he had some innocent bystanders that he just took out of the race. Not really his fault per se for taking them out. It was just a mistake that led to that, and not much he really could have done to avoid spearing across the track there. But good news for Mendelis, that's for sure. He was the first car to not be collected in that whole melee. Rachmanian, another one of the cars that I would say got lucky there, but he's under pressure from Jibgashvili behind, as Rachmanian in the white BMW there under pressure, but no changes for now. Obviously, Yetze got past Rachmanian during this lap. Grantas Karatkas, unsurprisingly, fastest lap of the race in a 2:14.9. That is a second quicker than Baumann. It's 2 seconds quicker than what Mendelis is able to do, as Yetze, I think, is about to attack Mendelis. Yep, they're side by side down the hill, and Yetze gets that position even before they turn into a Rouge. So Mendelis decided to back out of that one. I think he knows this isn't his fight. He was too far back in qualifying. Still started... well, Yetze didn't start 7th. Yetze started...
Oh,
and Mendelis tries something.
Did he outbrake himself?
Yeah, I mean, clearly he went completely off the road. There was no chance of making a move and no chance of making the corner either. Could have maybe fallen asleep behind the wheel. Maybe just wasn't used to somebody driving in front of him and lost his braking reference. I think Yetze was very surprised, and Mendelis probably even more so, as he, well, had to... It looked like he was more avoiding Yetze than trying to make a move there, because it would have never worked, and it didn't work because he went right off the road. But tried to get the car stopped on the apex, which was an interesting choice. Here's Asp in the GTR. Car we don't see at all anymore, actually.
Well, we do now. Maybe with these new GT3 cars, there's a lot cars for the drivers to choose from. Not only including this Nissan GTR, there are also Bentleys, Corvettes, BMWs, all sorts of GT3 cars available on the list for the drivers to choose. It's a free choice. The drivers have the ability to swap cars in between the races. They are not glued to one manufacturer, so hopefully throughout the season we will see even more cars. Look, Nissan versus Bentley, and that's a move done for Asp against Molodan. Two very different cars from what we have on the GT3 field. They look quite different to other manufacturers, but they definitely make this grid very beautiful overall. Quite a lot of Lexuses, I think, on this grid here this evening for the Spa race. Quite a few Ferraris, but I'm definitely loving to see quite a lot of different manufacturers racing here.
These two cars, if you went back probably 6 years ago, you would have seen them. Maybe even 8 years ago, you would have seen them battling here at Spa. The Lexus is not as visible in Europe, only in the World Endurance Championship and in IMSA. The Bentley, I don't remember the last time I saw a Bentley. Maybe GT World Challenge America, probably. Oh, that's a Porsche, but a Porsche quite far back down the grid, so not a popular car choice, at least here for... I thought that car wasn't going to make it. It was coming in super quick down in to the chicane there. I'm not really sure what he was trying to do, because it just came in on the inside, but survived that corner. The BMW, well, it's a similar layout to what the Bentley, the Lexus, and the Nissan are. And this is a battle for 33rd on the track as Speff takes his first position of the race. Has he made a pit stop?
We can try and find that out. Yep, indeed, he did make a pit stop, so that should be his race up until the finish line.
Yeah, and it's a good decision from his side. He knew that going through the traffic is going to be extremely difficult, and well, that's track limits for sure. It's going to be extremely difficult to get past other cars, and it's going to be extremely easy to get involved in an incident that might not even be your fault. Additionally, he had that damage, so makes sense. He went into the pits now all the time that he's going to gain in free air, because he's going to have quite a bit of it. He'll then reap the rewards come race end. I'm sure he can't challenge Karatskas at the top, but he'll be able to challenge some other cars somewhere in the mid-pack, so maybe could make it back up to somewhere closer to the top 10. This is Jofert, and I believe he is, yep, he's second in Pro-Am. Leading Pro-Am is Vershitskas, and the leader in Pro is Karatskas. Am leader Baumann still in second place overall.
I think that's going to be
a bit of time.
I think that's going to be the first and the last race, as we see Baumann leading the M class. Looking at his pace, looks like he's faster than, for example, Mendelis, a Pro Plus driver.
They, at least last lap, they ran pretty much the exact same lap time. He's definitely losing time to Yetzi in third, but gaining, well, I don't think it, actually, they're from the same team, the Tatum Restek team, so I'm going to guess once Yetzi gets onto the back of Baumann, there might just be an easy position switch, considering the pace difference between those two drivers, but they... Well, Baumann's already 5 seconds behind. Karatska 7 seconds behind for Yetzi, and they're going to cross the line, and those gaps are going to update. So a 2:15.1, 2:15.9 for Baumann, 2:15.1 for Yetzi. So he matches what Karatskas is able to do. But I'm sure Karatskas is also managing his pace, doesn't need to over-push it. This is Javakshvili, one of those involved in that early race collision as he's trying to get through the traffic. And this is what I mentioned with Spef before. It makes sense to pit early if you can, because then you're not involved in all of these battles, which, well, just lose you time, really. Even if the cars ahead of you are slower, when you reach a group of 3 cars battling together, it's not going to be easy to get past. This time, Menderes, well, clearly made a mistake somewhere. 2-minute 17.4, loses almost 2.5 seconds to the race leader. And Jibgashvili is behind Menderes, but that is an AM car. Also, I'm sure I might be looking at an upgrade. Now, who are we? I think we're still in that same battle. 25th is Javakshvili as he's trying to go for a move, and he's up to 24th. If he can hold on to it. Nope, gets tagged, and well, another point made. You can get involved in even more incidents. And he does get involved in another incident. And that means, well, position not gained, time lost. And I would say good news for Spef in this case, who's trying to get up the field. And is he still in, well, he's in clean air, but he'll close down on that group soon. Karatska's fastest lap, he's about to lap somebody. I'm sure they were in the pits, but anyway, Karatska's 14.8 responds to Yetzi matching his pace. This time Yetzi can't really do anything about it. 15.4, 15.7 for Baumann, and they're pretty much a second between Yetzi and Baumann. Mendeles, well, still I wouldn't say he's recovered his pace. He's doing it to 16.6. Behind him, another half second gained by Jibkashvili, and that gap now down to 1.2. And that's for P4 overall. Although for Mendeles, all of these positions don't really make a difference. He's got a 10-second lead over the next car of Rahmanian. The only thing I would be worried about for Mendeles is how quick can Spef approach. The question is how long he spent in the pits, I guess. Moves in front, does Asp of Rahmanian on the braking zone.
Very close between the two drivers during the slowdown of both of the cars, as Asp made that mistake before the braking zone. Rahmanian was very close to his back end, but does that mean that the Nissan has a much better braking capabilities as the BMW, or was just Rahmanian being careful? This was a battle for position in the Pro Plus class. It was for P4 in the class. So Asp takes 4th position, leaving Rahmanian behind. Molodan 3 seconds behind these drivers. And then we have Jofert in 10th. He's 2nd in the Pro-Am. What makes me, well, what looks definitely interesting is that we have 2 M drivers in the top 10 places and only 2 Pro-M drivers. So M drivers being faster in the opening round than some of the Pro-M drivers. I think there's gonna be a shuffle of the category order after this race.
Yep, I'm sure there will be. As here we go, Yetzi versus Baumann. And actually, this lap only 0.2 of difference. So Baumann getting into, actually it's more Yetzi losing pace than Baumann going quicker. As Karetska's fastest once again. He's built a very comfortable lead, and actually, he just went past that one car in traffic. But that traffic's going to come up for these guys as well. Karatskas will have 2 more cars to negotiate in front of him, and might have even more as the race goes on and the field spreads out even more. His pace is really something else. If you look down, well, even if you look at P20, last lap 219.2 with a 215.1 for Karatska, so 4 seconds difference. That's almost multi-class racing. And they're all in GT3 cars, albeit different cars, but balanced as closely as they can be. Obviously, some cars will be quicker on some tracks, some cars will be quicker down the straights, some cars will be quicker in the corners, but in general, pretty similar cars. Definitely not that big of an advantage, so Grantas Karatska is showing his skills as Yetzi trying to close down Baumann. Now he's in the slipstream. That's going to help him all the way down into the bus stop chicane, and if he's still behind, that's going to help him up the hill into a Rouge and Radion. Fastest lap of the race. Once again, Grantas Karatska to 14.7. I think Mendelis has stabilized his pace because he's not losing time to Chupkashvili now. So good news for him. As we look from the back of Baumann, both cars are Audi R8 GT3s.
No advantage for any of the driver except for Yetzi having that slipstream, being slightly faster. That should help him. 3/10 between the drivers. There might be a move down the Blanchimont, down the Kemmel Straight. Still was a bit too far off. Now he'll be very close, tied to the back of Baumann and back of the car. That might cost a bit of performance and a little bit of rubber on the front tires for Yetzi. He should be very careful now on the turn-ins, especially into the faster corners. They need to look after the tires if they do not plan to change them during the pit stop. And yep, he needs to tiptoe around the corners, especially around this Pujon section. A very fast two left-hander as we approach Campus. And we'll be heading out onto the Blanchimont straight. Yetzi goes a little bit wide. Was he slowed down a bit? He might have a chance after the Blanchimont straight. Didn't have the best exit though onto the straight, a bit wide again, clipping the gravel. That's not going to help him with the move, and look, he's losing quite a lot of time. So this time he went a little bit too fast into the Stavelot corner, and look, gap went up to 1 second between these two drivers, and he'll have to reposition his car once again if he wants to take that second spot. And anyways, it's actually, well, it doesn't mean anything for Yetzi, even though if he overtakes Baumann, he's still second in the Pro Plus class, has roughly 7 seconds gap against Matas Mendelis, who runs 4th and 3rd in the class. Unless we will teleport Baumann straight into the Pro Plus class after this race, then it's a battle for position.
But those two are teammates, so I'm actually surprised that we didn't see a switch throughout the lap. Obviously, Yetzi has now lost time and he'll need to recover it back unless they plan to stay in position. They can, because they're quicker than all of the cars behind. And this is Jofert trying to close down Moldan in front of him. Battle for P8 as cars starting to pit. So seeing a good opportunity, maybe seeing some free road behind them that they can rejoin into. Now Speff is in P26, so he's in a little bit of traffic, but should be quite easy for him to get past. But in terms of lap times, nothing too spectacular from Speff. Speff's up to 24th now, but a 2:16.1, obviously in traffic, but he's not been at the pace of the front guys, so definitely still some damage on his car. Now Jofert getting very, very close. Again, this is a battle for nothing, really, because it's a Pro-Am car versus a Pro Plus car, so won't change anything for either driver in terms of the points gained. The only thing for Jofert, I would say, is having a look, I guess, at Verschitskas in front, who leads Pro-Am, but he's quite far in front. He'd need to gain about 10 seconds. So, huge, huge difference. For Molodan, he does have Asp in front, but that's another big gap there as well. So really just has to be careful here. Jofert doesn't need to take any unnecessary risk, especially risk a penalty. And as I say that, outbreaks himself and decides to go into the pits. So takes that opportunity. Now the question is, where is he going to rejoin? Because looking at the track map, I'm not sure he's going to rejoin into much free air behind him. Depends on how long that pit stop takes. Somebody drive through for
Sid Nicholas, that is, and it's already a second drive-through penalty for the driver. He already made one drive-through penalty at the beginning of this race, and this is all for track limits. So some of the drivers are definitely struggling to keep that car on the tarmac. And if you don't do that within the boundaries of the rules, you will receive a penalty from the race penalty system.
So now, where is Jofert? He's out in 20th. And just ahead, actually out in 21st. So comes out of the pits now. It's quite a long pit stop. Maybe tire change for him as well. Looks like a colder set on the car. And drive through for corner cutting. Yep, we saw him go off there. I guess I thought probably cold tires, but that was his final strike for track limits. And he's going to have to go back into the pits. No stopping this time, but anyway, a big time loss. And so here's Speff. He's already made his mandatory stop. So we can kind of theorize that he's behind Molodan. And in front of Molodan, have we lost a car? Wasn't there? No, Asp behind has gone into the pits. So Asp, I guess, is the... No, sorry. So Molodan, he would be behind Molodan, and I guess now in front, considering his space. So still a decent position out on track. Not too bad. If he can recover up to a top 7 or so finish, that would be a pretty positive result for him, especially considering how many AM and Pro-Am cars occupy the top 10. So Speff has actually gotten in front of Jofert, so clearly the cold tire is not working well for him. Now, once they cross the line here as well, we'll see what the actual gaps are. So Asp is ahead of Speff by 5 seconds. So Speff has an opportunity to hunt him down. That would be for position, and if he can get that place, he'll be looking very, very good here. Could even be looking at a P4 finish in Pro Plus, which would be, well, an amazing achievement considering how his race started. And, well, at the beginning of the stint, Grantas Karatskas was, I wouldn't call it under pressure, but he was definitely being matched, or at least close to matched, in terms of pace by Yetzi. Right now, not even close, almost 2 seconds gained by Karatskas last time round. This is Asp, but this is not for, well, it is for position on track, but it's also completely different categories, and Asp has already made his mandatory stop, so really it's, yep, and you can see the flash of the lights. He's saying, get out of the way, this isn't your fight, and getting held up a little bit, and I think he now knows that he's got a very angry Simon Speff coming up behind him, who, even if he's not had that ultimate pace, he had a good strategy. Obviously, older tires on his car, but I think he's running quicker than these guys in any case.
Yep,
Mendeles hasn't dropped Jibgashvili, who's actually caught up to him. And that gap now down to almost half a second, so under pressure. So here's Asp, and he'll probably make the move here into the bus stop as he continues to fight him, and, well, not sure what's the point of that.
Yep, both drivers losing time.
Not only you're in a different category, you're also fighting a guy who's already made his pit stop, and this is good news for Simon Speff, who's, well, catching up easily here. Maybe not assertive enough from Asp, but I'm sure he doesn't want to get a penalty battling for with somebody that's not even close to being for position. As wide from Azikiev there in front, and I think this is going to be the opportunity that Asp needs. Azikiev defends into Lake Combe, so a very, very strange situation here, but Asp gets around him down the straight already. Speff will be the next one to catch up unless Azikiev takes to the pits. And Jibgashvili lost time to Mendeles once again, and is, I was going to say Karatskas in the pits, but no, Yetzi is in the pits. Would you say early stop? No, I guess that's part of the strategy, and considering that he's in, I would expect Baumann to be in next lap.
Yep, probably to respond. I wonder how many different strategies we have here. How many guys do we have that are, well, looking to run this race on 2 sets of tires, and how many of those we have ready to run on 1 set? Still unanswered. This is the first race of the season, and we didn't have any race to have at least any info, but sometimes in these races with mandatory pit stops we do have different strategies, and that might be the reason why some drivers are slightly slower than the other drivers, and well, we need to wait out till everybody makes completes the pit stops to kind of figure out the strategies here behind the scenes of the drivers. I think our tire age widget still doesn't work correctly. We still see everyone on basically the same age of tires, so no use of that information.
I'm gonna guess that Yetzi did do a tire change, unless he really felt that he couldn't get past and decided to make the stop, but
Yes, it did stop, definitely,
yeah,
but we don't have here also this information on the tower, so that's a bit of a shame that it's not working the way it should work. So a lot of information is missed as Grantas Karatskas goes into the pit lane with 28 minutes on the clock. And I assume that most of the drivers who pit at this stage of the race they go for a tire change. It's a
Yep,
nice...
I would say so. That's the only way it would. And yep, Baumann comes in 1 lap later. So the question is, how far behind will Yetzi be, or maybe even in front, depending on that outlap. So Mendelis will now assume the race lead. We'll see if he tries to go to the end, because the window, let's say, for trying to make a tire change is closing. There's not going to be that many more opportunities, because if you really drag it out, then you're not getting all of the help from a new set of tires. Skaratskas back out onto the track in P3. This is Yetzi versus Dennis, and Yetzi gets past. Now the question is, where is Baumann? If he's coming out of the... Nope. I think he's still gonna be behind.
That's gonna be...
Yep, he does well, he rejoins almost side by side, but Yetzi is gonna have the overspeed, and Baumann loses that position, so a very, very bad in-lap for Baumann that must have been. He lost 2 seconds to Karatskas, but that's maybe not the best reference here.
Oh, Dennis received the drive-through penalty. The driver who is right behind Baumann.
Yep, and goes back into line. Makes sense, as Baumann needs to get his new set of tires up to temperature. Now the question is, how quickly will Karatskas catch back up to traffic? Yetzi is 18 seconds back from, well, the provisional, let's say, the virtual race leader here. Because he'll obviously get back into the lead, even if Mendelis just does that liter of fuel, he'll spend more time rolling down the pit lane, so he'll lose that spot anyway. This is the recovering Simon Speff now on the back of Asp, and they're both going through some traffic.
This is for position.
Traffic for
this is for position. That's Bolson running 11th. Was running 11. He's now...
He was for, let's say, position, but these two are definitely for position. Not only for position in terms of on track, but also for position in their class. And Molodan has made his pit stop and is ahead.
Yep, Molodan is 10th. 7.5 seconds ahead of Asp and Speth.
Okay, so I guess Asp was... Yep. Asp was behind Molodan, right? Before we went into the pits?
I cannot recall that. I heard you trying to figure out that, but I've already knew that I'm lost a bit at that situation.
Gonna have a look, because I don't really remember who was in front here.
Oh, Simon Speth definitely struggling behind us, but he's faster on much older tires, assuming both of the drivers.
No, actually, Molodan was behind Asp, so I'm guessing no tires for Molodan. That's how he got in front.
Yep.
But then the question is, why would you pit so early, especially when you had free track in front of you? Now he's going to be caught behind Bejenaru. So an interesting strategy choice, because he had free track for himself, could have just kept putting in the laps, unless he expects to defend here. But then anyway, you would pit later and try to find that spot on the track which you need. So here is Speff still trying to get past Asp, and this is definitely for position, an important position in the Pro Plus category. This is for P5. It is for P5 in Pro Plus.
Yep, but both of the cars are Definitely gaining on Molodan. It's already 6.5 seconds between Asp and Molodan, so it looks like Molodan stayed on those tires. That's how he got himself in front. But he's dropping a lot of time now here. We had that pit stop, so 7/10 lost. Well, he actually gained on 15th on the 15th lap against Speth. But I think that was because we had that couple of cars battling on the racetrack at that moment. Now it's Speth against Asp, and looking at the gap, it's always going down between Asp and Molodan. So Speth is looking into a solid result here. Maybe not gonna be a race to forget. Of course, he started from P2. Didn't go far during the first lap. Oh, how much faster he's through the bus stop, but he has no space to be faster. He needs to wait, he needs to lift while he's stuck behind Asp. And that's gonna be difficult. This is definitely for position on the racetrack. And Speth needs to find something here to try and overtake Asp on the track, and he lost out exiting the La Source corner, and that's not what you'd want. It's 5/10 between the drivers, and that's not gonna help in any way. That's Molodov.
It ran away so much in the acceleration. Molodan, well, this isn't for position. I mean, it is for position now, but one of the cars hasn't made a stop, so this really doesn't matter much. Not a real battle. I'm more interested in what's happening with Asp. Clearly, the Nissan is much, much quicker on corner exit. You saw it coming out of La Source. Car just went away, and again, look at that, another acceleration zone and another opportunity for the Nissan. So difficult situation here as Asp slower in the turns, much quicker down the straight. So Speth needs to find something here. I'm sure he can, but it's definitely going to be a big challenge for him. You saw bus stop was a good opportunity, as clearly Asp was much, much slower. So Speth should probably be looking at that, even if it's trying a move around the outside. It looks like a possibility if he's brave enough. Into the bus stop. Again, Speth closes right in, but can't do anything for now. And this time they come out.
Vershitskas drive through for cutting. He's currently 5th, and he's the Pro-Am leader. Bejanaro, does he need to go into the pit lane?
Yeah, Bejanaro definitely needs to pit again. So for Pro-Am, who are we looking at? Pro-Am anyway. It was Jofert, who we were looking at for Pro-Am before, but Jofert's got a penalty himself, so doesn't, well, it will even it back out. Here comes Speth now at the top end of the speed range. Very good in the Lexus, the slipstream helping as well, and this time he's much, much closer. And now, as they head into the twisty bits, he might just have a chance to do something here. He's been stuck behind Asp for a while now, so his quick progress halted here by Asp in front. So it needs to get a move on.
Mendelis pits. Matas Mendelis goes into the pit lane.
Wide from Asp, and might there be a chance now for Speth? Nope, I think he's still too far away. And wide again from Asp. Now Speth might be looking at maybe an opportunity into the next few turns, but look at the acceleration from the GTR once again. Beats him on acceleration, no real chance to fight back, and that's going to be wide, definitely wide, and an easy move at the end of the day here for Speff. Now he can set his sights on, well, Bejnaru, who's already pitted. Now Mendelis
Second.
hit, yep, so no.
There's definitely no tire change for Mendelis, and
Yep.
definitely some tire change for Yetzi. And Mendelis moves up into P2, so maybe that explains why Mendelis was not even considering of going faster at that stage of the race. He was thinking about his tires because he knew that he will not change them. Currently he has 15 seconds buffer, 17 minutes on the clock. I wonder how much faster Yetzi will be able to go after Matas Mendelis pit stop. He's gonna be definitely faster, but will that be fast enough?
So we've got about probably seven laps to go in this one. He'd need to gain about 2 seconds a lap. That's not outside the realms of possibility here, considering the pace that we saw from Yetzi before and the pace that we saw from Mendelis before. Mendelis is going to be on the tire that's going to keep dropping away from him. Could he hold out against Baumann? Wouldn't matter for him anyway, so he's got to be looking at holding off Yetzi somehow. We'll see if he finds that pace that he needs, as the race is still held. The lead of the race is still held by Karatskas, who moved back in front after Mendelis made his pit stop. And Karatskas will run away with this one unless there's some huge accident. And look, Speff has caught up to Molodan super duper quickly. This is Bejnaru catching up to Nikkanen.
Yep, this is for Pro M. That's a battle for P2. No, for P3 in the Pro M class.
Here's Speff going around. That's traffic for sure, as now they're all within a second of each other. About 2 seconds cover the gap from 4th to 6th in Pro.
Simon Speff needs to be very precise here with overtakes, because he has Asp right on his tail, and with that acceleration advantage, Asp still has a chance to put his car into P4 in the Pro Plus class. Just
I can't see him holding on to P4 even if he does get back up in front.
Well,
just
I
the
mean,
pace difference.
I mean, he lost the position by making a mistake, so it's still possible. Speff did not find a way through.
More that it was inevitable that he would find a way through. I mean, the pace difference, and especially once he got past how quickly he managed to get the gap out. Obviously lost time in some traffic, but he just kept extending and extending Asp very, very wide. I think he's, well, maybe trying to catch back up to Speff somehow. He doesn't really have to worry about Molodan. He'll get past him easily since Molodan didn't take tires in his pit stop. And he's been losing so much time. Speff is gonna come up to Molodan, and well, Speff has played his cards right today. Speff goes to the outside, which is gonna turn to the inside, and that Bentley of Molodan has no, and well, actually does have an answer, continues to stay on the inside. Speff has to cover off and gonna try to switch back. Here, they're still side by side. Maybe Asp can follow Speff through, maybe give him a bit of a bump draft. Now Speff gives the draft to Molodan behind, and they're in the position that I would say Speff wanted here, that he didn't let Asp have an opportunity onto the grass in the middle of the braking zone, and off the road goes Molodan. I'm not sure if there was contact there, because Asp went into the grass. He clearly couldn't go more left.
Maybe there was a small contact which caused a small chaos, and look at Tomala going through Molodan and Asp. So Asp got the position from Molodan. This was in the class, but he lost to Tomala, which is basically for no position. Both of the cars are in different classes. But that's gonna be a more job for Asp to overtake and maybe hope for some sort of a mistake from Speth. That's gonna be a move, and it's not.
No,
has been completed.
Didn't have the confidence. Didn't have the confidence on the brakes. He was side by side, and Tomala held it round the outside. For Tomala, not much can really change in his race. Is there a Pro-Am? No, not even close. So, and he's not close to the lead in Pro-Am either. So in no man's land for sure. But P2 in class, good anyway. Mendelis, so keeps losing time.
Quite a lot.
7.
That's 2 seconds per lap.
Yep. Yetzi is
even
on target.
Even more than 2 seconds. He lost 2.3 seconds on the previous lap. 12 minutes on the clock, a little bit less. That's high chances for Yetzi with those fresh tires, and he's definitely now on the game on mode, trying to catch up with Matas Mendelis. That's definitely doable. He needs 4 laps to get behind Matas Mendelis if he continues, or if both drivers continue on same pace. Matas Mendelis, well, he needs to find something a little bit more to extract out of his car. We have roughly 6 laps on the clock, maybe 7, but Matas Mendelis losing the back end of Aston Martin, and that's not helping with the managing of the tires. And he might lose it at the very end of this race. Look at the car. The rear end has no traction whatsoever. He needs to be very patient here by putting back that power of the Aston Martin engine when heading out to the straights, because the car looks to be all over the place. Asp lost a little bit more time to Tomala. This is not a battle for position.
Well, he's running much quicker, actually. He's matching the pace of Speff. So, but again, it doesn't really matter for him. He's got past Molodan. The next pro car that he would encounter would be Staten, but he is about more than 20 seconds back, so Molodan can't go back, can't go forward. Asp, I would say the same, can't go back, can't go forward, so kind of locked in. Speff, great job for him to recover to 4th place in class. Here's Jofert, who's, well, this is a battle for position, isn't it? Because Nikkanen in the Aston in front, who just got past that, I think that is Azikev.
Nope.
Oh, a little bit of contact, and well, if well, I'm not sure who that is, and we'll have to wait for. But I'm pretty sure that was. Oh no, Azikev's in 11th. Same colored Ferrari. So Jofert's got Nikkanen in front of him. That is for position in Pro-Am, and that's for a podium spot in Pro-Am as well. So I'm sure Jofert will try to catch up. He did catch up. He managed to catch up. I don't know why he's got the hazards on. He had those on for quite a while now. So interesting looking car with the hazards on all the way around the track. So that car in front of him, that's Nikkanen, that is for position. Jofert was quicker. He lost time with his drive-through penalty and now has an opportunity to get back at least one position. The other one is Tomola, but Tomola is way too far up in front to have any say in this matter.
Still, this is a battle for a podium place, a battle for P3 in the Pro-Am category. And, well, definitely worth battling for. Remember, we have definitely great prizes for the top 3 overall finishers in each category, presented by the Ringfreaks company, which, well, it's going to be vouchers for the drivers to have some real track experience on Nordschleife. So Jofert definitely has something to fight for here. And, well, he still has a bit of time. He has the pace advantage. And he wants it badly. Looking at the gap between Yetzi and Mendelis. Is it 6 seconds or so? No, it's actually 5 seconds. So Yetzi definitely much faster than Matas Mendelis. And I think that's game over for Matas, but that's still gonna be a very nice different strategy for at least one car on the grid. Maybe Vershitskas was on a very similar strategy to Matas Mendelis. He's currently 6th and 1st in the Pro-Am class, even with that drive-through penalty. 11 seconds safe from Tomola. And this is the battle for P2 in the Pro Plus class in the overall standings. Yetzi, who is way much faster than Matas Mendelis. I think that's gonna be a very easy task for Yetzi as soon as he gains on Mendelis, and he'll still have at least one lap to enjoy for himself while running second. I wonder how big of a defense
Mendelis,
drive.
Though, well, depending on if Baumann does get upgraded, still would hold on to P3, so that would be a gain in terms of positions for him. Remember, he was running 4th. He was actually under pressure from Jibgashvili. So good news for Mendelis, because I don't think Baumann has any shot of catching up unless the tires fall off the cliff completely. Tomola has caught up to Speth. It's not a battle for position for either of them, so I'm not sure if they'll try to fight this one too much.
Speth has older tires, definitely. He had to make that pit stop at the very beginning of the race as he was involved in an accident and then dropped down places. I think he made a pit stop by the end of the first, latest the second lap. So he's basically running Mendelis' strategy here.
For Tomola, there is an opportunity here that I didn't really expect. Vershitskas is running incredibly slow. He just did a 2:19.6. He's losing a lot of time. This is an opportunity actually for Tomola to go into the lead of the class if he really puts the hammer down here. He's got a chance. It's not all over for him, as they'll have 3 more laps to do at the end of this one. So good news for Tomola, bad news for Vershitskas, who's being caught up quickly. And you can see even the body language of the car. It looks slow.
Yep,
Clearly
so
on very old tires.
Yep, so he's running the same strategy as Mendelis is running. Oh, Simon Speth. Oh, Simone Yetzi making a small mistake, but that's not going to be too badly for him. He's already 2.1 seconds behind Matas Mendelis, and looking at the pace difference, that should be an easy overtake unless Mendelis will find something to defend. He'll not have a lot of laps to do that. Still, would be a very difficult task to achieve. And if he'd do that, if Matas Mendeles would be able to hold off the pressure of Jetsi, that would be heroic drive. I don't see that coming. I don't see any chance of defending when you're more than 2 seconds per lap slower than your rival. He's just tiptoeing around the racetrack. He'll need to make decisions here, rather to battle with Jetsi or just let him through and finish off this one. It's not going to be very easy.
Well, he'll do his best. Now, we were saying Spef did a great job. Tomola, he was involved in that lap 1 incident as well. So he's recovering from that, because I was looking and I didn't see where he was coming from. I didn't remember him on the timing screen. He is recovering from that lap 1 incident. He's lost some time to Spef this time round, though. It's not good news for him.
Yeah.
As yet he's getting closer and closer. Mendeles, I think, is not too happy that there's another lap in this race, because if this was the final lap, I would say he's got a pretty decent chance to hold on here. I don't think he'll be able to. I'm sure he'll do his best, and will be entertaining for us to watch. That is for sure. This is for position, both overall and in class P2 in the Pro Plus category. And if you take out Grantas, who's just been dominant, this is the main battle of the race. So Jetsi trying to push Mendeles into making a mistake, and you can see how slow they're going through here. Mendeles, I don't know what he's thinking, but I'm sure he's feeling the nerves now. He needs to somehow hold on to this. It's going to be difficult to make a move into here. Not going to happen, but the next chicane is an opportunity. Can Mendeles hold on? At least here he's going to go defensive as Jetsi goes to the outside, and with the superior grip he's able to hold on. Mendeles pushes him to the inside, but no answer, and Jetsi gets the move done. Brilliant move, and uses that grip advantage. So Mendeles, well, we thought it was more of a when rather than an if, and Mendeles loses that position and, well, goes off the road to solidify that.
Well, at least he tried, and definitely looked fantastic. Anyways, he gained some places with this different strategy than most of the drivers had. The next car on a very similar strategy is Verschitskas, but it looks like he'll have the chance to fight this one off. Tomola made a mistake, I think, on the previous lap. If he didn't have made that mistake, maybe he still would had a chance. 2.2 seconds advantage in both of the previous lap times. So maybe there was no mistake by Tomola. Maybe he just lost a bit to Simon Speth. Maybe Simon Speth did.
Here is how big will that drop off be in the final lap of the race? You saw Mendeles just going off the road and losing the car. So, well, not going off the road, but dipping a wheel into the gravel. You saw that car getting loose. The more the race goes on, the worse it gets for them. So it all depends on how good are those tires for Verschitskas in that final lap. And he's got traffic in front of him. The traffic moves out the way. Or does it? Well, holds him off, holds him up just a little bit more lost time. And 3.5 back is Tomola, 2 back is Speth. But for Speth, this position doesn't really matter. For Tomola, it absolutely does. We'll see how this battle continues to develop round the lap, really, as definitely he's still losing time even down the straight. But I think we can have a look at our race leader, who's already coming up to the line into the bus stop chicane. We haven't seen much of him today, just because he's been so incredibly dominant. Grantas Kratskas will take the win in race 1 of the Ringfreaks GT3 Premium Championship ahead of Yetzi, and Mendeles. Baumann should take the win in AM, but now I'm interested in what's going to happen in Pro-Am, as Spef closing in on Vershitskas. Depends on how he makes that move. If he makes that move, how much will he slow Vershitskas down? Really, for Vershitskas, he needs to let Spef go if he tries to make a move on him, because if he loses too much time, or even worse, gets into an entanglement here, he'll be overtaken by Tomola. But I think he might just be able to hold on, even though Spef caught up to him, but even now he's too far away. Was that a little bit wide from
It was wide.
him?
He clipped
It
the
was
gravel.
wide, and he's still losing time, so he loses the spot to Spef. That doesn't matter. That's not for position. He just now needs to not lose a place to the car behind, not make a mistake through here. Gets on the brakes, gets it slowed down, and if there was just one more lap, Tomola would have had him, but Vershitskas will take the win in Pro-Am, just about barely. Probably a 10th in it for the win, and no, 3/10 in it for the win in Pro-Am. Incredibly, P1 and P2 in AM finish way up in front of them. Baumann takes the win in AM ahead of Jibgashvili. And then P3 in AM. Who is that going to go to?
That's Jofert. I'm not sure if
Jofert has got the position from Molodan, and I guess that was a final lap switch, probably, because Jofert takes P3 in Pro-Am and recovers from that drive-through penalty. Azikev takes P3 in AM, and he finishes 10th. So actually, AM positions are all in front of Pro-Am positions, at least in terms of the podium. Actually, Jofert overtaking Molodan didn't matter. It was Kobosnidze, but he got past him. Actually, it was Nikanen who he got past much earlier. Kobosnidze was involved in that lap 1 incident, and he had a good recovery up into P4. So lots of big recoveries. Simon Spef recovers to P6 overall and P4 in class. But Grantas Kratskas, well, nobody had any kind of answer to him. Fastest lap of the race. It didn't lead every lap just because of his pit stop strategy, but was dominant. 25.992 seconds ahead at the finish. Nobody can question his win. But a bit of action created by Mendeles towards the end there. He finishes in P3 ahead of Baumann, who, well, I would say had a great race to win AM and finish 4th overall, ahead of Chibgashvili, who had a great race as well to finish 5th overall and 2nd in AM. So strong performances from the AM cars. I'm sure that will be looked at before we head to the next round in 2 weeks' time for Circuit Zandvoort and our next event on the Ringfreaks GT3 Premium calendar. So join us then and head on over to worldsimseries.com if you want to participate yourself. But from us, it's good night.